Yeah.
Hello, welcome to Toffee TV. It is the Daily Live.
Baz's birthday.
Thanks, mate.
Just doing the Joe clap.
Yeah.
The Joe clap.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
James didn't get involved.
Nice.
Disappointing, that, wasn't it? What? Nah, it doesn't feel the same now, does it?
Not
feel
like
the
lazy.
Same. Feels like an after.
Feels forced.
Yeah.
Feels forced. Fair play. But fair play. Okay. That is okay.
This is what I got as his favourite thing in the world. We were talking about this yesterday, weren't we, James? This is literally Baz's favourite thing in the world. Couch cleaner. Which led to people thinking we all had scruffy bums, but we said it wasn't.
Well, it's because, basically...
People keep spilling drinks on there. I don't even drink over there. Look, I have a big solid cup like a child. James again.
But there you
As
go.
if, hang on, right, when have you ever seen food not hit my mouth?
Fair play.
It's science.
Fair play. Here we are anyway. Hope you're all well. Hope you are all well. James just put his Moyes right to target the young...
God, you told them to.
I know, because he asked. But it's based off the news that you've done yesterday. Everton linked with a lot of younger players to try and bring that age of the squad down. We know that this is something the Freegans want to happen at Roma, and they started implementing that. So that should definitely be Everton's aim as well. They've obviously got to be good, but that's got to be our aim, hasn't it? Because that is how you're able to develop a squad, make sure that they can compete well enough, and also to develop and sell on if you need to.
Yes, we do. Yeah, the four names yesterday were Liam Delap, Ben Dowick, Chris Rigg, and what's the last name from? Estev, yeah. Maximo Estev. So, yeah, it's reminiscent, isn't it, of what happened first time David Moyes was here, and in the early days of David Moyes, because he sort of went away from it eventually, didn't he? When I think there was talent, you could find talent abroad, probably a little bit cheaper. But in the early days, while back, there was a lot of young talent coming through. He was looking all the time. Baines, Lescott, Jagielka was technically still a Premier League player, but he was about to be relegated. But he had one season in the Premier League, I think, under Sheffield United, I think.
And a goal against Arsenal.
Yeah. So a lot of people have cut their teeth, and we've got the same. Delap obviously having his first season. Delap's one of those where there's I think Everton could offer him so much, because he could become literally Everton's number 9 straight away and play games and continue his education. Whereas other clubs, would he play every game? I don't know. Maybe. Just because of where Man United and Chelsea have been rumoured with them are, but certainly at Everton he could. But I think that's a good pathway. Try and get them early. Try and get them cheaper than obviously we would if we were trying to get them in 2 or 3 years or whatever. So it makes sense to me. And you want to lower that age of the squad, and you've got a fantastic opportunity to move older players out and bring younger players in, and still have a core team that's around maybe 25, 26. So there's plenty of a mix in there. And what we don't really have at the moment is those really young players. Obviously, we've got Branthwaite and Jacob Brien, early 20s.
James Garner.
But then you start to talk about almost mid-20s, aren't you? I think it's the best way to look at it is young British talent come in to the squad, and as you just said there, they're also sellable. So if there's any issues or they do really well, you'd be able to sell them at a higher price.
I think it is important. Obviously, we're seeing Harrison Armstrong doing really well at Derby as well, and I believe Moyes and Billy McKinley went to watch him and were hugely impressed with him against Burnley. And he will be one, I think, who Moyes will look at, certainly pre-season and on tour. We've seen John Eustace has said he's filled out already since he's been there, just the physical side of it. you can see he's a talent. We've seen him when we've watched him in the first team. Is he someone you can see in David Moyes' first team squad next season, or do you think he'll be someone who was put back out on loan? Say if Derby survive, do that full season at Derby, because I think he'll end up playing about 15 games, I think, by the time it ends. In fact, it could be a couple more than that. That's a decent chunk in the Championship.
Yeah.
And he's performing really well, I believe. So, what do you think about him?
What about... Could there not be an idea of maybe sending him back on loan for initial, say, 5-month loan to a side that are possibly top
of the
Championship, top end of the Championship, someone who's a promotion chasing team, someone like maybe like Coventry, let's say, if they don't go up this season. Someone like that who's pushing on. And if you used to say, rather than going, it's going to be the whole season, what about you say just till January, and then maybe there's a break clause in January? Well, you could say it's the whole season, but there might be a break clause, and Everton could see how he progresses, and rather than putting absolutely saying it's going to be the whole season away, see how he's getting on, see how he develops, see if they believe he's ready, see where we are in January. Isn't the African nations in January? So you might lose a Disagana Gay, and you might be looking for that extra body just to come in midfield. Different kind of players, of course, but you're looking for that extra body, or you're looking for a little boost. Why not bring them back? I mean, we did do that with Ellis Sims, didn't we? Slightly different circumstances, but have that break clause where we can bring them back. He might think, no, spend the whole season here and at Everton, and he's ready to kick on, but at least have the option, maybe. I don't know. I just think that it's an interesting one, because we've got experience in there, and we've also got like a young player in Timmy Abunam in there as well. So would he get lost in the mix still if he was at Everton? Would Moyes go, no, I'm absolutely ready? Remember when Moyes had Ross Barkley, and he didn't really have the patience for him at the time, and he sent him on loan, and it wasn't until he got those loans that Martinez was able to get the most out of him starting in the next season. And it might just be a season a little bit too early.
He's only 18, isn't he? And just
that's what I'm saying. But Ross was different, because Ross had a couple of leg breaks, and it pushed him back a little bit. But I just think maybe just having that opportunity to keep playing every single game, and you almost get a player who once you get him back is ready to start the next game. I just don't think Harrison Armstrong is ready to go straight into that Everton midfield and make a difference without some, not teething problems, but not being in the team, out the team. I just think it would be great to go like Brantwaite did. You go on loan, and when you come back, you are ready for the first team. Now, that'd be really nice with Harrison Armstrong. Doesn't always work out like that, of course, but I think he needs games.
Fair play. He's doing brilliantly, though, and that's good. Yeah. That's what we want. He's one who obviously we feel that has got a really good chance of making it, don't we? Thanks for all the birthday messages. Joe C, you're getting blocked. You're not really. Cheeky. RC, thank you. Lots of nice comments from you. Thank you very much. Out of the ones linked, who... You tell me. Okay, out of the players linked, in fact, all 4 of them are really good, to be fair. Esteve at Burnley. I mean, I think they've only conceded 12 goals all season, Burnley. He's one I really like. Left-footed. Big player. I think he's 6'3". He's been excellent. So I really like the look of him. Chris Rigg, hugely talented, very, very highly rated. But again, the problem with Chris Rigg, when you're looking at it as a whole, a lot of it'll be what you just said about Harrison Armstrong. Yeah. He's only 17, or he might be 18 now. And, okay, plays every week for Sunderland, in their team every week. Doing well. Do I see David Moyes putting a 17, 18-year-old in Everton's first team every single week? Now, if he was 20 million, I'd be like, it's about, they want something like 40 million for him. And I'm just not sure Everton would pay that money for a player who Moyes would look at and go, well, you've got to earn your way to get in the team. I mean, everyone does, but you know what I mean. So don't know about him, but he is very good.
Yeah.
And he'd be a great signing. Who's the other one you said? I know Liam Delap. Ben Doak. I'll be honest,
they're not selling them to us.
I'm not sold on Ben Doak anyway. I think there's much better for much cheaper. There's like price tags of like 30 million talked about with him, which I think is too much. He's a good player, don't get me wrong, but I'm not convinced. And the other one's Liam Delap. Now, Liam Delap, when you have a look, you look at him and go, he's not a player that's got tons of goals every season, because he hasn't. But he's had an excellence. He's done all right for Hull. I think he's around 1 in 3 for Hull last year. He's got 12 goals, I think, in the Premier League this season. He's obviously a young talent. He's a physical player. 40 million. Is that too much money for him? Depends. Young English striker. What are Everton doing? Are we 100% sure that Calvert-Lewin's going to go? I feel like he'll go, but then you just wouldn't be surprised if he ends, because it depends what his options are. Beto, are we 100% sure he's going to be here next season? There's quite a few Italian clubs want him, and he might look and go, I've had a couple of good seasons at it, I've enjoyed my time at Everton, scored goals in the Premier League, but an Italian club be saying to him, you're our number 9.
Yeah. He'll
go and play in it and do well in Serie A. And Everton might get an offer at 20 million or something and go, we feel that's a good price for us. Because I'm listening, I think he's done quite well. For Everton, really. I think he's done really well since Moyes come in. He's been amazing every game, but he's done well. But when I hear Moyes talk about him, I just get the feeling Moyes isn't convinced by him. I think he sees him as a decent striker to have in the squad. But if you're looking at someone you're hanging your hat on, I'm not sure Moyes is convinced there. So if Everton were to get, say, 20 million for Beto, then 40 million for Liam Delap.
Yeah.
Essentially, he's only 20 million for a young talent who's 6 years younger than him. And that might be an investment Everton do.
Yeah.
But out of the 4, I think 2 of them at the both ends of the pitch would be really, really good signings. Chris Rigg would be a really good signing. I don't like the price.
No.
Simply because I'm not convinced Moyes would put him in. And I think if you spend them 40 million, say, which is what's being quoted, but I think that's way too high. You want that money to be on a player who's going in your team and going, he's in all the time. He plays all the time. So, but what's enthused me about it is they are some good talented players, and it's good that we are clearly looking. I mean, we're looking at half the Sunderland team. Dan Neil, Serkin, is it the left back? Everton have watched 5 times now since Moyes come in. I know that he's looking at full backs this summer as well. So, but it is good because they're all of a good age, and that's what you want, don't you? And maybe Moyes moved away last time because the money was so tight that all of a sudden the value to get your Leighton Baines of the world and Lescott and that, all of a sudden they were becoming 3 times as much.
Well, it was, wasn't it? Because the value of the European players coming in was becoming so much better value. You were picking up so many players that the Championship teams felt like they had to react because they probably weren't selling as many players. So the price went up because it was almost like, well, we've got this player that you want, and it just escalated, and it's never. I don't know if it's ever properly come back down again. I suppose for a Sunderland, they're looking at someone like Chris Rigg and, well, he's a once-in-a-generation talent for us, so we've got to get as much money for him. And I totally understand that. Are you going to get 40 million for him? Well, no. But do you want to sell him? And that becomes the ultimate game, doesn't it? Do you really want to sell him? Do you have to sell him? Well, if they can't get promoted, then they're going to have to. But then they'll go, yeah, but next season we've got a great opportunity of coming up if we keep this core collection of players together. It's like the kid at Burnley, isn't it? If they get promoted, which it looks like they will now because Sheffield United have bottled it, is that they want to go into the Premier League with this lad to give him the best chance. And then if he gets a Premier League season under his belt, then he's got a year of Premier League. If he does well, his price goes up again. So it really is difficult, isn't it? It's really about when you buy these players, and that sometimes means you miss the opportunity.
Liam Delap apparently is a £30 million relegation release thing.
Is it 30? He was talking about 40, wasn't it? But
40 as a release fee, but a £30 million relegation.
Well, it'll be relegation.
So it's a relegation one. Thanks for everything.
It's difficult, isn't it? And that's why clubs do look abroad. And I also believe that's why a lot of Championship players miss their chance to play in the Premier League. Is that the window of opportunity goes. And I think we've seen a few. I mean, look at the lad at Fellows at West Brom that we were being linked with. Like, if he doesn't get a move like this summer, you wonder. You know, we've seen these players before where there's that moment of opportunity. You know, we've had one in here, Callum McManaman. That window of opportunity to come to be back in the Premier League, it gets missed, and the next minute you become a player who just becomes a player who just ends up being in the lower leagues because he doesn't quite click ever again like it did, and you get stuck in.
Well, he got sort of sidelined by Pulis, didn't he?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Therefore, when you look at how much he missed, once you look how much football you missed, you can't ever get back to that.
Well, it happens with loan deals. Another Brendan Galloway, same thing happened to him when he moved under a place. You go to a place and I think, it's going to be very, very interesting, but it does show the kind of talent we're looking at this summer. Doesn't mean we're not looking abroad and we're looking at other opportunities. I'm sure Moyes scours everywhere because he always has. He's not like this one-trick pony. He's always looked for a bargain all over Europe. You know, he might have some good connections in Spain because obviously he's managed over there as well. He might have good connections at Sunderland because he's managed there. Not sure how well they like him, but you know, but it does seem like we are looking for every eventuality in every position. And I think that's key, isn't it? That's the most important thing. Everyone can take optimism from that. Yeah,
absolutely. Thanks to Carla, Emma, Shelley, Charm Life, Toffee, all of these people who were Mark, Thomas, Carl. Thank you very much, and loads more as well. Quite a few people saying 30 million release fee, relegation release fee. So that's not bad, really. Garrett says, happy birthday, Baz. Well, what a job David Moyes has done. Many people were laughing at Everton before he came back, but not anymore. Moyes has given us back the respect we deserve. Hoyle433 is a YouTube member, says, seeing how David Moyes has done with our boys in tough times, it's going to be exciting to see how he does next season. A few people asking about Evan Ferguson. Been linked again with Everton, hasn't he? Because obviously he's gone to West Ham, which was a stupid mistake. What do you think?
I don't know. His career just seems to have completely... It's a difficult one, isn't it? It's like, was the goal scoring thing a flash in the pan, or is this just a bad period in his career? Which one's real? And that's the problem with players of his age. Is like they can have their moments, they can have those situations. Which one's the real one? Well, I think people who properly watch players week in and week out would know that. I don't watch him week in and week out. I don't know what's gone wrong. I know he's had injuries, almost like associated with his physical size. I don't know. I thought West Ham would give him the boost. I thought they'd play him every week, but they don't seem to be playing him every week, which is weird. It's like, what have you got to lose? You bring a player in, why aren't you playing him every single week?
I just think he was a bit stupid going to follow and Potter to West Ham.
Well, it's only a loan.
But no. He's played 6 times for West Ham. Sorry, he's had 6 appearances, no goals. And one of them was about 2 minutes against us or something, wasn't it? So you can't really... You know, his Premier League, he made his debut, 1 game, 21-22. 22-23 season, he made 19 appearances and scored 6 goals. In 23-24, he played 27 times in the Premier League and scored 6 goals. And then last year for Brighton, he played... this first half of the season, he had 13 appearances and scored 1 goal. So the most he's ever scored in the season, 6 in the Premier League. So maybe he's not a goal-scoring striker. Maybe he's more of a big target man type striker, but he's got a bit of both. I don't know. You're absolutely right. He could have, it could just be he's had a tough time.
Yeah.
Really, with the injuries, the first real injury he's had. But that means someone might be able to pick him up relatively cheaply.
Yeah.
Because Brighton are not sure of him. Does he get on with Hazel? Who knows? But they've let him go on loan. And he's not really done anything at West Ham. So does that mean that a club like Everton could go and get him in the summer and go, we'll take him?
It's got to be the right value though, hasn't it? It's got to be. And again, someone like Brighton, what would they be looking for him? Did he think he's done? It's difficult on that, I think.
Because you'd expect then, they don't have a real... They don't, Danny Welbeck, who's been, don't get me wrong, he's been excellent for them, but they haven't got, João Pedro's a penalty merchant, isn't he?
Yeah.
There he is, isn't he? He doesn't score a lot of goals. He loves the penalties, even though he misses his first year. But he's more of a link player, I think. He plays off, he drops in pockets, and he's a little bit, reminds me a little bit of, not the same player, but like Cunha at Wolves. He's that type of player, Brazilian, drops in pockets, is good with the ball. He's not an out-and-out centre-forward. And Brighton probably need that, really. So are they looking and going, well, Ferguson pre-season, back in, let's see if Herzl can get him? Or if they, like you just said, if they sort of gone, you know what, he's done. Yeah. Let's see what we can get for him, because we're going in a different direction. We'll see. Daniel Reel says all we can do is activate the lapse release clause of 30 million and do our best to sell him on the project. He's not done. He'll know United and Chelsea and Madhouses. It'll be one of us, Forest or Fulham. I mean, realistically, if you looked, where would you say the pull would be? Did you go Forest above Everton at the moment?
I think if they get, because of Europe, somewhere like Forest would be interesting because they do the player. It's the next step up. And you get to play Champions League. Well, you might get to play Champions League football. You'll probably be in Europe. Well, they'll be in Europe.
They're in Europe.
They'll be in Europe. So you get to play European football.
On Champions League.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
But
you get to take that next step up, don't you? And that's what will be the pull ultimately. But then, not going to play. You're going to play every game. Chris Wood just signed. He'd signed a new 2-year contract. So are you going to play every game, or are you going to be bit part? Is it going to be, obviously there's going to be a lot of games, so you're going to play, but I don't know. I think European football will always be a pull, though.
No, it's got to be, It's got to be. I'm just looking at a big thing. I mean, where Everton are going and the ground and all that's a game changer. New owners, game changer. But right now, Everton are flying. As in, the real opportunity to rebrand the whole club, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Moyes has done a brilliant job at doing that so far. People are looking now going, in fact, Everton only lost 2 games in 13. I think the 6th, aren't they, since Moyes coming overall. And I think they've got the same points as like 3 teams above them as well. So, we'd have won maybe what they could have won. They'd have probably been close to Liverpool in form. But we'll see. We will see with that. A couple of people have, and one of our mates I was talking to about this player. What do you think of Strand Larsen at Wolves?
I actually think I really like him.
Looks like an Everton centre forward. Yeah. He's not like lightning. He's not slow, but he's not like, he ain't knocking through balls and he's getting on the end of them. But as a sort of, he's got good movement. Good touch. He's one, isn't he? Because he's only on loan at Wolves.
Is he only on loan? I did not know
season
that.
Loan, yeah. He's in Spain, isn't he?
No, I do. I think he's a good player.
He's a powerful striker if you're looking at those kind of players, isn't he? I mean, I wonder if Everton could get Ferguson on loan with a obligation. Maybe. Or with an option.
Maybe.
For the season. But again, it depends what It depends what their overall plan is for him. If their overall plan is for him to go back in and... But he was in and around Brighton's squad, and in fact he was sub for them and come on the day or 2 days before he signed for West Ham anyway. So he was back in their sort of squad.
Yeah.
And then has gone off to West Ham and hasn't done anything.
No.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's weird, because I do think he's got something, like.
Yeah.
But if you had the choice of him or Delap, who would you take? Because the one's 20, one's 21.
I think probably Delap, because I just think because he's, I don't know. I think because he's come through Man City as well. He's got a bit of a dog. Got a bit of a dog in him, but he's also got a bit of like something else in him, I think, as well, because of the Man City stuff. So I think I even like I think it was a Sunday, just seeing a little of him for one of the goals, and he's got just his aggression. I do like his aggression. I think we'd like it at Everton. But you know, it'd be a fight like to get him. Whereas Ferguson, I don't think it would be as much of a fight.
No.
But that's for obvious reasons.
Juan and Gary say hello. Baz doesn't say. Steve says, Baz, you're on to Algerian striker from Wolfsburg, Mohamed Amoura. Got 10 goals and 8 assists in 26 games. And he had 18 goals in 26 games in Belgium last season. I haven't followed him this year, Steve, but I knew about him last season. He's small but very fast and explosive, can play wide as well, 24. But he's the opposite to the strikers we currently have. That's what you're looking for, aren't you? You're looking for a mix. I think for too long, Everton have had all the same kind of player in them forward zones. And it's always been Calvert-Lewin, because he's the best of all of them. So you'd always looked to him. When really you want different strikers. And even someone like Mopai would have been okay had Everton had, I mean, he wouldn't, but what I mean is the stature of him. Doesn't have to be a big 6'3" centre forward, but he would have had to have been really quick.
Yeah.
Or really good on the ball, and he wasn't either. Mopai, so it was a waste of time, it was gone. I think it's okay having a different option if they bring something slightly different to it. And I think Everton Moyes will want them to have a few more technical players than what we've got. That then means that you can play different types and it'll bring out different things in you. We're seeing it. We saw it with Alcaraz on Saturday when he come on. You know, I thought Njai was hit and miss, really. Done some good stuff, and other times they looked a little bit short.
Yeah.
But Alcaraz come on. There's no one better breaking than Alcaraz for us, the way he travels with the ball. But the one where he fed it to Beto and he went down, he was looking at a penalty, but don't think it was just an entanglement, wasn't it? He should have shot. The whole pitch opened up for him, and he's got to be prepared to just have a pop. If it opens up and people are running away from you, you don't always have to feed the striker in. And I think we could see more of that from him. I'd like Everton to keep him. 15 million I would. I think he can play 3 different positions. I think he's so comfortable on the ball and he works hard that I think that to me makes loads of sense, keeping him.
But he obviously isn't. He obviously hasn't made his mind up on it.
No. Clearly he hasn't. But I just think that at the weekend proved that we can play in different ways. Because Brozier's 6'3", isn't he? And Beto's 6'4" or something. But we don't play the same way when both of them are on. So we have got a variance, but still got the physical attributes of it. Chimiti, I want to see more of him, but the manager might have made his mind up on him, as in he might need a loan for development. We don't know, do we?
No.
But I'd like to think he'll get a go against Ipswich and Southampton, Chimiti. I'm not saying he'll start, but I want to see him on the pitch.
I just don't think he will. I think, like we were talking about before, I think Moyes, I don't know, I think the occasions are almost like, have become so big.
Ipswich at home isn't an occasion.
But it's like the second to last game at Goodison, and I think he's taken that all in as part of the I don't know. I just do. I just think he might like he's definitely going to change the team for every game. I think. I don't think there's going to be a game now where we have the same set of players. I just don't know whether. I just think he's respecting almost like the last games at Goodison.
Maybe.
I could see Schmidt starting up at Fulham.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I just think he'll get a go, and then it's up to him to make sure he puts himself about and shows that he can do it. He's always looked bright, hasn't he, when he's played?
Yeah,
so.
I've been really surprised that he's not had more game time since the West Ham game.
But, David says, morning gents, happy birthday Baz, hope you've had a great one, thank you. Love the fact the fixture list had us playing the top 5 back to back, and we're holding our own. I mean, to be fair to the fixture list, they probably didn't expect Nottingham Forest to be in the top 5, did they? But it is hilarious how we have the run of games that other teams don't seem to get, really. And the, purely like random fixture list. But we've had a bit of everything so far, haven't we? 1-1, 3-1, lost one. So, Liverpool on another day.
Won't be the top 5 by the time we play them all, will it?
No, I mean, Chelsea. It's one of them now. I'm looking at Chelsea going, I'll be really disappointed if we don't win there, because they are crap at the moment. They just got a situation, Chelsea, where they've got loads of talent, but
Did you see the thing on?
They're all over the place.
You won't have seen it.
No.
There was a thing from the game. Carragher highlighted it last night where I think it was they might have been getting beat 1-0, and the fans were like shinging attack while the goalie had the ball. So the goalie just like put the ball down and lashed it upfield, and the Ipswich centre half won the first header, the lap won the second header, and they went and scored to make it 2-0. And the players were all kicking off, and the manager was like, "We don't do that." And Carragher was saying the fans clearly just don't like the manager, or they have no relationship with the manager because they can't if they can't understand what's happening, what the picture is, and what you're supposed to be doing, and the players are not set up for it, then there's obviously something going wrong there. But that all being said, I don't know what a Chelsea fan is anymore. I really don't. I see them as like the most... I think they're like literally the most touristy club in this country now. Forget about your Cities and Uniteds and Liverpools. I think Chelsea the most tourist club. I don't think Chelsea as a club has any identity anymore. And I imagine a lot of the old fans will have been priced out by now. I just don't think they have any identity. But I just thought it was really interesting. That moment he was talking about, that he identified it, and that's what happens when your club gets run in a certain way and becomes, and if you don't have that relationship with your manager, you don't trust the manager, after all this time. And yeah, I've never worried about going to Chelsea. It's not a fixture I'm worried about, because I just don't see that it's not a place where...
We beat us 6-0 last year.
No, I know, but I just think that was one of those where everyone was ridiculously terrible. But it's not... What I mean by that is, yes, they can turn up and be really good, but I don't see it as a place anymore that is like... there's an atmosphere that's going to... I mean, it's never ever been that anyway, Chelsea. It's why I don't believe Chelsea are a bigger club than Everton, and never have thought that. Whereas the media lose their mind. I think they're the most... I don't even know what Chelsea are anymore. They're a club with loads and loads of money.
They just spend money.
They're just a club with loads and loads of money. I just don't think they have a soul. I really don't.
I mean...
I don't mean that in terms of like they've got... I feel like all the proper fans have been pushed away from them. I feel like now they're just... I don't know.
It's sweet to, like, obviously listen to Rory, like, when you're at the Oval, you know what Rory's like, but he highlighted something the other week when they went to the Emirates and got beat 1-0, and he said he got sent an email, and it was an interview with Maresca on competing well at the Emirates, and he was like, they're normalising going to Arsenal, getting beat, but having a few shots. He went, it's just gone. The whole club's gone. Yeah. And I remember, like, when we played, you'll remember this as well, obviously, because we only played in December, but that day when we played them at Goodison, they could have gone top that day.
Yeah, we should have beat them.
And they were so passionate. Yeah. I thought when it got to 20 minutes in the end, they'd be flying at us, and they weren't. They were happy to play a 0-0.
No leaders, no characters, none of that left anymore at Chelsea.
And their fans were hammering Maresca. I remember talking to you about it, going, they don't seem to like the manager. And yeah, it looked like he was doing a decent job, and their fans were on. I heard loads of them going, this fella's want him out and want him gone. And I'm like, it's only been there a few months, and you're doing all right. Yeah. But you see now the big disconnect from it. I
think it's because he got rid of people like Conor Gallagher,
who
were like the connection between the fans, and I think that's like, that's probably one of the reasons. Once you start telling people that the fan base love, it can be, if it doesn't go well straight away.
It's interesting.
But they'll win that Conference League this season.
Let's be honest, every Premier League team that plays in that should win it, really, given the power that I know Villa.
No, they should.
Villa sort of miscalculated it last year in the semis, didn't he? Against Legia Warsaw, he took them for granted, didn't he? And ended up coming up short, but I don't think Chelsea will do that. David says, morning gents, happy birthday. Oh no, I've done that one, sorry. Ryan says, thoughts on Liam Delap? Well, we talked about that. He says, I feel like we could get better in the European market for cheaper, but saying that, I wasn't a huge fan of us paying so much for a Charlison, and that turned out to be a gem. I think my worry is we repeat past mistakes and only looking at average Premier League players. Kufal, Souček, Walker Peters, rather than being braver in the market. So I don't think we're in for Kufal. I think that was a lazy link. He's 32. Walker Peters is free, can play right back, left. Listen, I'm not a. I'm not some. I wouldn't be going big for him because they'll be better for who are younger. But I think he's out of contract, Walker Peters, and he's 27 and he's loads of experience, quick, can play both sides. You look at that and go, well, that's like an Ashley Young type signing, only he's a lot younger and is a decent player. Souček, I wouldn't have him. I think he's too old.
It wouldn't pay for him. But
he's got 2 years left at West Ham, and I don't see them letting him go. But he still scores goals and he can play in 2 different positions in midfield. So, but you're right, we've got to marry that up. But all the noise we're getting, Everton are after younger players, so
I think there might have been a little bit of clever manipulation of the media. I think some names might have been released a few weeks ago just to stir the squad up a bit.
Yeah. Well, it's got to be, hasn't it? He's not Moyes. The one thing he is, he's very clever, David Moyes. Harry says, how good would it be to get one of the young players we've been linked with early in the summer, though? Someone like Chris Rigg or Tyler Dibling. We're not getting Tyler Dibling. They want about $1 billion quid for $1 million. They want $1 billion for him.
See, he's another one though, isn't he? Well, you can look at this both ways. If they ask for a ridiculous price for him, right now, okay, goes down. Could he be like Grealish? Goes down, comes back up a bit of a man. Leeds, Southampton is brilliant, and then someone does pay the money for him. But I don't think anyone's going to pay. He hasn't been amazing. He looks good. He looks like he looks very skillful, but he hasn't been amazing. Does he get? What if Southampton went down and didn't come back up?
Yeah.
And then someone goes, "Yeah, mate, I'll give you 20 quid for him." You know, it's football clubs have got to be very, very, very careful. Got to find, especially teams who aren't in the Premier League.
Wouldn't it be, Harry's right though, would be good, wouldn't it, if Everton could get one of those young players signed early on, like a statement. Say it was the Lap or say it was Chris Rigg or whatever, and they're in the door early. Yeah. And it's like, we mean business. 2006
all over again.
Yeah.
Getting your targets done.
Everything would be, I imagine though, everything would be after July the 1st. Unless Everton sell someone before the 30th of June. I think it just will be the way that's PSR is in the year, the financial year.
Ridiculous. Doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense.
But it should be 1st of January.
The year, yeah.
Should be 1st of January.
Yeah, should be. So it's a calendar year, definitely. Josh says, happy birthday, Baz. Ped was right about the under-21s conceding far too much. 5-0 up and concede 4. Yeah. Liam says, why are we looking at buying 18-year-olds when the 18 to 21-year-olds here are deemed too inexperienced to start and sent on? Because all the others are playing. That's the difference, isn't it? Say we bought Rigg, if he's not straight in the team, then what's the point? If he's going straight in the team at 18, does this suggest Armstrong and Schmidt are viewed as not being good enough?
Yeah, well, if they're not, they're not. People have got to, stop worrying about players we've already got. If there's someone out there that we can get and is better than Schmidt and better than Harrison Armstrong, good.
Get them.
There's
a lot of teams after Chris Rigg. So, and if they're not good enough, then it might be that those two lads are good enough, but they're just not playing league football enough yet. So they've got to go. Harrison Armstrong's gone and is playing, isn't he? Yusuf Chimiti, he's been handled really poorly by Everton last season, because we had them all. Dykes just had them and never given any time until he had to. And then this season he's been injured and he can't really do anything with that. He's had a bad injury and he's only just got, and then he got another injury so that we might need more. He might need more minutes. Schmitty, wouldn't he?
Maybe, yeah.
Blue Keeley, happy birthday. Thank you. Not so purple. He says, can we take a moment to respect Baz for calling in December that the 3 promoted teams wouldn't get 30 points. I think I called it in about October, but thank you very much for highlighting that. Not so purple. Happy birthday, Ben. Happy birthday from Benji, thank you. Everton definitely need a centre forward and 2 wide players from me, says Jake. People say we don't need a right back. I couldn't disagree more. Okay. Do you think Patterson will get a start at right back this season? If Jake O'Brien remains fit, all season.
No.
Nah.
I just don't think he will.
Nah, I don't.
I just don't think he will. Again, for the same reasons, I don't see him moving Jake O'Brien to centre back.
If everyone stays fit.
Because Tarky's the captain, and he sets the standards, and he's played every game, every minute. Imagine going to Tarky and you're not playing today, you'd be like, what are you on about? Like, I am playing. You've got to see, this is like the argument, discussion me and James after the week. You've got to have professional standards within your football club. You've got to have. Your manager's got to look at your play. Your player is going to look at your manager and go, why would you drop me? I've done nothing wrong. I want to play. You have to have professional standards where you have to have people bringing everyone up. And if you're watching Tarky every game doing quite well or doing very well, all right, we know he has the games where he does something stupid.
But
his standards are really high. I just don't see him. I just can't imagine Moyes going, you're not playing, and Tarky going, oh yeah, okay. You've got to have like the professional standards within your football club. And I think when Moyes said, when Mykolenko didn't play, Moyes said, I saw that as an opportunity to play Patterson. When Tiernan Mabuna played, he said, from James Garner, he played in the derby. He didn't say he hadn't played well, but he hadn't played well, and that was my opportunity to get Tim in this team. He's going to make changes. When he Bettel not scoring for five games, that's an opportunity to play Brozier. I think that's what we're going to see.
Yeah, but that's proper management.
That's what I'm saying.
This is what I banged on about with Calvert-Lewin when he was left in for 5 months. The minute your striker goes 4 or 5 games without a goal, he's out the team, because that's standards. If Everton conceded 2 goals a game for 4 games, one of your centre-backs would be out with Moyes and the other one would be in. It might only be for 1 game, but it's almost like a reset. You're out. He's done it with Garner, like you said. He's now done it with Irabunum at Forest, hasn't he? Irabunum played against Arsenal, didn't have a great game. Out the team, James Garner. I actually thought James Garner did quite well Saturday.
Good Saturday.
Garner was in on Saturday. If James Garner has a couple below, to think he'll be back out in Irabunum, the corner. But that should be the standard.
So because people go, well, put Jake O'Brien is only found on his feet now, and it's not his true position. So you drop him and say, well, it's a real difficult one, but you have to make those decisions, don't you? You have to make those decisions centre forward. And we and James some of this yesterday. It's like, we all sat there at 5 o'clock buzzing on Saturday because we'd won. Everton won a game of football. If Everton had played Schmitty up front and somebody else, and you get beat, and I go to you, I know we got beat, but played in for the future, didn't we? People just go, what are you? It's games of football. This is the problem. We are all.
But we will never progress as a club if that's what we do, though.
Football fans are fickle.
No.
We all want wins. We all want wins. We all want to go, we're 13th. That's better than being 17th, isn't it? You progress. You've got to have opportunities for players to progress, of course you can. But those opportunities will come through either players being tired or they're not playing well. I don't think David Moyes is really a manager who's going to take players out whilst they're playing well. It's the Corey argument as well, and there's Carlos Alcaraz. Carlos Alcaraz, who can only really start 3 more games this season. He ain't starting a game at Forest when you've got another player fit. Corey might get an injury this week in training, and Carlos Alcaraz starts against City, and that'll be his opportunity. But whilst Decore's fit, Decore's going to be played ahead of him, and that's just fact. Because the manager really likes Decore and what he brings, the energy he brings to the team. Now we can disagree. Some might disagree, some might not disagree. But that's just the way the manager does things.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. That's all it is. Jack Harrison will stay in the team because he had a good game. If he hadn't had a good game this week, he might have found himself out of the team. So it is what it is, isn't it? It's. At
the end of the day, they'll do.
Hang on, sorry. Just talking about Chelsea.
Yeah, go on.
Ishii Samuel Smith has signed a contract till 2031 at Chelsea.
Fair play to him.
Wow. That's his career's sorted, isn't it?
He's sure.
His literal life is sorted.
He'll never play.
With one contract.
But fair play. Ian says, afternoon all, I wouldn't be going for the lap if the price is quoted as right. I'd be looking at alternatives. No way is he worth 40 million. Okay. Thanks, Jake, for the birthday message. Steve P says, the stuff Big Nev said about the club standards, I fully agree with, but I do think he was talking quite a bit of nonsense, especially the stuff he said about Pickford and Moyes. Does surprise me that he doesn't seem to rate them. Saying recruitment's been terrible for 30 years just isn't true, is it? When it was very good for most of Moyes' tenure, while having one of the lowest budgets in the league. And the thing he said about nobody wanting to come and play for him because of the style of play is nonsense as well. He also said we shouldn't sign a player unless they're going to win us the league. That's just not the reality.
Some of the stuff, Nev's great, but some of the stuff, he once told me in an interview that we shouldn't build a stadium and should take the 500 million and spend it on players.
He says what Steve said. He just thinks Everton should spend the 500 million on a team full of top players.
Yeah. It's just not reality now.
We can't do it now, can we?
It's just not reality.
Blue Keely says, as long as the quality is there, I think we'll bring in a mix of age and experience in the window. Jake says, looking at it from a non-Everton point of view, would you honestly go to Everton over United or Chelsea at the moment? Or he says, you would honestly go to... Yeah, you would honestly go to Everton over them two, because them two... I mean, it depends what your motivation is, doesn't it? But if it's about developing as a player and your career path and wanting to play, you can't be choosing going to United or Chelsea right now, because Chelsea bought so many bought another 3 players, haven't they, for like 100 million that aren't even getting here till...
2 Portuguese lads.
You know, so...
Oh, sorry, 2 from Portugal.
And Brazilian lad as well, for like 40 odd million. You're like, where did they go? They got so many good players that they're not even a good side. So that's just a mess. If you go there, you're just gambling with your career.
And also, if you go to Chelsea, you're getting a 9-year contract.
No, well, that's it.
So it's like...
Once it goes wrong, if it goes wrong, you're knackered as well, because no one's going to take it. But you're in this situation. Dewsbury Hall, people like that are in this situation.
Maybe we should just let Chelsea sign the lap and wait a year.
And then get him.
And get him then.
So, yeah, it's mad. And United are just a mess anyway, aren't they? Derek says, aye lads, yeah, I think Rick and Delap in the attacking area of the pitch would be good additions, but it does not solve the lack of pace, which is what we need on both wings, so we can move in Jai, playing more central behind the striker, as this is his natural position. He'd create and score a lot more, as he can go either way. He is restricted to playing out on the left. Most of the signings, youth is the way to go for longer term. Yeah, don't disagree with that. Nathan, more importantly, happy birthday, Baz, thank you very much. A young, hungry winger, creative central midfield player and a fullback would be great. The lap would be a great striker to build it round. If nothing else, younger players are good investment, says Gary Ward, correct. Harry James Tattoo says, how come Big Never's turned into a bit of a hater lately, hating on Pickford and Ndiaye?
I don't know why he's picking on Ndiaye, and he's never liked Pickford.
He hasn't really liked Pickford, though. Maxter says, happy birthday, Baz, same day as my daughter. Well, happy birthday to your daughter, mate. David Eel says, who's the new guy, Ped?
Oh, he broke up the dream team, hasn't he? Broke up the dream team.
Harry says, I get the point of being slightly weird for the core to go from playing every week to leaving for nothing. But for me, we have too many average midfielders, so we can use it as an opportunity to open up space for new players, but also allow us to change the setup in midfield. Yeah, Mark says, I've not seen much of the lap, but from the game I seen Bios, I thought he just looked like Grant Holt or Kevin. That's what he was like that day. He just
wanted to pick a fight, didn't he?
Yeah, he was dreadful against us. Jay Ratcliffe says, happy birthday, Baz. Have a good one, mate. Also, anyone moaning about Pet Jogong New Blades, the guy's a maniac, but he's box office. There you go, Jay. I mean, there you go. Jay also says, I'll be looking at a 15-year-old Jeremy Monger at Leicester. Yeah, he looks really good, but how much would you want for him? He's rapid, right-sided winger. Come on against Newcastle, didn't he, last week? Very much one to keep an eye on. I get he wouldn't be regular, yeah. It's what they'd want for him, and then what would you do with him? They're in the Championship. It'd be one of them that you buy and leave them there, but I don't know whether Everton are at that position. Tom says, good afternoon, lads. Oh, Ped, James and John are taking you out for a bite to eat. But Ped's brought me cookies. How good is it being a Blue now? Do you think Dyche was at the City ground last week in the home end and gutted when we scored?
Can only hope. You can only hope.
Thank you, Martin. Emma says, my goodbyes to the grand old lady were a bit premature because I managed to get a City ticket last night. Still on the hunt for Ipswich in Southampton, obviously.
Nice.
Keep hunting away, Emma.
Nice.
Thanks, Mike.
Basically, what happened with that ticket, Emma, I basically sorted that ticket and put it out there
in the
for
effort.
You to find. That's what happened.
There you go. Thanks to Mike Barrett, thanks to John Chadwick for your messages. Mark says we need to decide if Chimity's won or not. Having multi-young inexperienced forwards mightn't be the wisest if we do target Ferguson or the lap.
I don't think that. I don't know. I think players, you can have young players, but who are experienced players. Everton in the last few years have had like 22-year-olds, and the 22-year-olds had like 100 odd games, and another 22-year-olds never kicked the ball in the Premier League. It's like that's what happens in football now, isn't it? It's like it's all about like the Laps had a season under them, Schmitty's had a little bit. If you could get like maybe a little bit more of experienced centre forward to go with them, someone like in on a free or something, it's getting the mix, isn't it? I don't think you should ever confuse age with experience, though.
Well, no, you can you?
You know what I mean? You can look at Onana. Onana played for like 3 different clubs and was 22, and there was other two players. And then you've got like the other players there who were like the same age who've done nothing.
Ian says Evan Ferguson has had too many injuries, ankles and knees. Don't need any more sick notes. Says I agree with Baz on Alcaraz. If we don't get him, someone will sneak in and take him for 15 mil. David Earl says there's no games we should be playing with flip-flops on. I don't think we will. John Chadwick, thank you very much. Jordan Crawford, thank you very much. Steve P says, Baz, I've seen a lot of fans comparing Roll to Fellaini. Not sure about you, but he's nothing like him. He's more of a box-to-box midfielder. He's got a similar style to someone like Declan Rice. He can also play wide, which Maraman Fellaini could never do, Steve, could he? Imagine put Fellaini on the wing.
Be hilarious.
Asking him to run up and down the wing and put crosses in. Never happening, was it? Never happening. Matthew Ferenzi says, Baz had one birthday wish, who would you take? No expense spared. Realistic. I want someone wide who can. You'd want someone like Vinny Jr., wouldn't you? But obviously you're never getting in. But like someone like that who's got that explosive pace, but can put the ball in the back of the net as well. Imagine him in like a player like him in our team when we're breaking, and you can play it in behind, he'll get there or he'll take it, and they're the ones that get you on the edge of your seat, aren't they? Those sort of players. And
just all right. So we started talking before about what happened last. So Braden Graham, right? Scored 4 goals last night. I've just seen all 4, and they're all just basically tap-ins at the back post. So, poacher. What do you think his trajectory is going to be next season? Because anyone who went to the game at the new ground is probably the only time they've probably watched the 21s this season, right? So I was speaking to a guy and he was like, and I said to him, none of these are making it, other than Braden Graham. He's the only one who's got a chance. Reece Welch isn't making it, by the way. So he's the only one who's got a chance, I think. He should be playing for the under-18s. He's not. He's playing for the under-21s. So he's already got a leg up. He's a kid who played men's football when he was like 14 and 15 in Ireland. Whatever you think of like the under-21s, so a kid who should be playing the under-18s to score 4 goals in a game, even if it's under-21s level, shows that he's got something. What do we do with him next season? Do you think is he someone who's suddenly going to become an under-21 regular, or do we just go, you know what, you have got something about you, and stick him on loan? Because I honestly believe now, just keeping track of the under-21s and stuff, for me it just seems like a league now for the odd player in each team to just get games, rather than it be somewhere where players are getting developed for the future. Like, none of our, like, we've got to be honest, right? None of our 21s are making it, other than him, I think, genuinely. I know a few people that go, oh, that lad there and that lad there. To me, they don't have the common sense to be professional footballers. How are you 5-0 up against 10 men with 10 minutes to go and it finishes 5-4? Honestly, that's like playing on the park with your mates. How have you not got the common sense to see that game out, like, against 10 men? Right? So, to me, it's not technique they don't have. It's common football sense that you learn on the streets, or you learn playing with men that we used to see when the reserves. So, what do we do with them?
I think he has to start the first half of the season in the 21s.
Okay.
Every game as the striker, and see how he develops. And then if he develops well, because don't forget he's only slight as well, isn't he? When you look at him, I'm not saying he's not tough.
Do you know what though? What I would say is, have a look at a picture of him now, and have a look at a picture when he signed.
What he was like, yeah. No, well, he'll develop only, and obviously he's still growing. I think it's too early to put him on loan. I don't think he's going to be getting involved in Everton's first team, but then he wouldn't put it past Moyes taking him to America just to look at him, just to have him there. If he finishes the season strongly, I suppose he'll be called up to train with the first team first, and we'll see whether he can cope.
See, I was just thinking, the fact that he has played in a men's league in Ireland at 14 and 15 gives me a lot of hope that he could go to like a decent League One team for a year. Not Championship, but just like, I think where people go, oh, he's like, he's so delicate. Because a lot of these kids they're just too delicate. Yeah. Whereas I think he looks to me like someone you could drop into the League One, a good League One team, and go on, have a go there. And actually, because he has got that fight in him, because he has played football, men's football, he's not someone who's come through our ranks. Don't forget,
so where would you send him, like Wigan with Ryan Lowe or something like that? Or because they're quite close.
I don't know. Maybe, but
Bolton if they don't get off with shoes.
I think you're right. What you're saying about like maybe he needs a full. I just don't. What are they learning in the under-21s?
No. I'm just saying because he's come from the 18s.
No, I get
he's
that.
Gone in the 21s. He hasn't started a lot of 20. He's only come in lately, but he did score a few weeks ago his first goal, and he got 4 last night. There's a few games to go. If he still does all right, then you look and go, well, I imagine Moyes will have a look at him training with the first team just to see what he's like, just to get a taste of it. Will he could well take him to America just to go see what you're like away. Because if the ones who are bubbling under, there's him. There's Justin Clark, who I think they really like. He's
in the under-18s, though, isn't he?
He's in the 18s, but he's been injured. He got 4 last weekend, didn't he? When he won 4-1, he got all of them. And he's one who's been flying since he come from Wimbledon, didn't he?
Yeah, the Wimbledon lad.
And they really like him.
And he played for Wimbledon's first team, didn't he?
So he's another one. He's physically strong as well. So they're sort of the bright ones. And the kid they also got from Burton, they like the centre-back, the big centre-back they got as well. He was in and then got injured and he's come back again recently. So he begins with a T, I think his name. But he's another one. Tazen, is it? Tazen? Well, anyway. But he's another one who they really like. But at the moment, you're looking and going, well, who else is pushing? And you're right, what will he learn? But if Everton go, well, you go back in the 21s for the first half of the season, Because don't forget, Anthony Gordon sort of did this, didn't he? Anthony Gordon played that first half of the season in the 21s and then went to Preston.
Yeah.
Okay, didn't go great at Preston.
Well, Alec Thomas played last night, and he was trained with the first team last week, wasn't he? So he's 18.
So yeah, I mean, there's a few they've got their eye on, clearly. And David Moyes will want to know whether they're up to it, won't he? But the under-21 games are just non-contact. That's the problem. That just, you look at it and go, where are you? You know, Carla says the under-21 games are like non-contact, aren't they? Big difference between that and first team. Yeah, because when you get in the first team, people start kicking you and doing everything to get in your head and do all that.
Clark was on the bench last night.
Was he? Yeah, but he is. I know that he's one.
And Jacob Clark, yeah.
The Bowman Clark.
No, Jacob Clark was on the bench, sorry.
But he's definitely one who they will look at because of the pace. But yeah, it's an interesting one. But I mean, Robert Smith says Mansfield under Nigel Clough are doing the world of good. Something like that go in where they're going to play a bit of footy for you. You're going to get a good ground, and then maybe, yeah. If he does all right in the next few games, though, they might look at it and go, the opportunity's there for someone to take him on loan, but we'll take him on. Yeah. You know, and maybe it'll be if Everton go to Austria or which Moyes was a fan of going away for that first week, he might end up going there with the first team and doing that week of training, because they take a few of the kids anyway, don't they? And then you'll have a look. We'll see. SB says Blackpool like a good loan player. But no, it's an interesting one because we know that he is highly rated. Making your debut at 15 in a men's league.
Yeah.
In Ireland, they're not shakers in Ireland, are they? They give you a good whack if it's so you've got to be ready physically there to get in, and that's what he's done. So it's going to be interesting. Very, very interesting. Heyo said, a YouTube member said, critical thing is we will have an actual pre-season this summer.
You'd like to think so. Not just a collection of games thrown together.
That's it, isn't it? Yes, Matthew, we will be there. Austin, thank you very much. The happy birthday. Yeah.
Rowan Dixon isn't making it harder, by the way.
He should be out, shouldn't he? What is he, 20 now? He needs to be out on loan for him to have any chance of doing anything at Everton. He's got to go out on loan and do well. Otherwise, he'll just be another one who will end up moving on. And you'll go, he played in the Premier League, you know, for us at Tottenham and done all right. He played in the cup game against Southampton at home. Made an error for the free kick that led to the goal, but in general, done all right. And yet, that was sort of that. And he's got to, you know, if you're him, he should be pushing for a loan, season-long loan, to go, get me out, I can do it. Get me out on loan and see. But that's it, isn't it? Because that's the only way you learn. You don't learn by playing under-21 football.
No.
Do you? So we'll wait and see. Right. We are, what are we? 1,182.
Science.
We're not 1,182, are we? But 1,182, what the fuck? 1,182 away from the 100,000, I meant to say. I said that incredibly wrong. So, like, subscribe. Thank you very much.
Someone said yesterday, it made our day, didn't it? Someone said, and what did he say? And he said, and to think I considered subscribing to this channel. Made me laugh so much. I know, but it was the fact that someone was sitting there watching a free live show and was just considering subscribing. Like it was like
an hour in as well.
Yeah, like they had to give us some money or something to subscribe. It just, me and James were just literally crying over it because it was just, imagine, like, that's the worst thing someone could. Well, to think I considered subscribing to this channel. I just went, see ya, bye mate, boom, you're gone. So You know the score. If you're watching this,
all the people you block, we would probably be at.
We don't.
At 100,000.
I don't block people though. I don't block them. I put them. And by the way, someone has just put someone in a timeout. So there's James just put someone in a timeout.
So you just timed out somebody, you didn't?
No, I didn't block them. I never block people. I just timed them out.
So what did you say? He's gone. Oh, just by timing them out.
Yeah, you just time them out. You can
right.
time them out for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, 24 hours. James has just done it there because someone was being a dick in the comments.
All right.
That's all it is. We have the power.
Don't be a dick. That's
we
simple.
have the power.
One rule, the golden rule. Don't be a dick.
We have the power to just go, see you later. I did it to Remy. I did it to Fletch. You've got to save them from themselves now and again. They're getting a bit la-di-da. Do you know what I mean? You've got to save people from themselves now and again, and that's all we do. That's all we do.
Helping. Let me help you.
That's all it is. It's all it is a little bit of like. It's going
intervention.
It's an intervention. It's getting a little bit of going in and sitting down with someone and having a good chat with them and getting it all out. You know what I mean? That's all it is. That's all it is. The only thing is, I can't be timed out ever. So remember that.
Key B says bit behind, but Graham should go out on loan, even if it's too much lower level.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting if he played in the first team friendly at the new ground, because he'd be the only player who's played in all three.
He has played in both.
There you go. Why not? And Mark and a few other people have asked this. No, still no news.
There is no news on the Southampton game. People of Everton and Premier League, we know you both like to watch. Come on. This is ridiculous now. This is ridiculous.
Let's just get it sorted.
Just get a kick-off time.
For everybody, for people who made arrangements, for
this is not on this. This is not how
book flights and everything.
This is not how you treat a fan base. It's not. It's not how you treat a fan base. Get this sorted.
It's a big occasion. Let's get it sorted. Let's put an end to all of the, it could be this, it could be that. Personally, I think it'll end up being 7 o'clock on the Sunday. That's what if I had to put me money
that's
anywhere,
the chatter.
That's where it'd go.
And if that's the time, so be it.
That's it, so be it. Let's get it confirmed.
But it can't be a Monday night. It can't be a Monday night.
Let's get it sorted.
The people have spoken, they don't want a Monday night. They want a Sunday afternoon where you can chill before the game.
Okay. Right, take it easy, everyone. Thanks for watching. See you later.